There it is. Okay, we're up. We're live. Hi, Dr. Gail. We
Hi,
takes them a
everybody.
few minutes to get through the system and wend their way into the chat room. So I see all your outer space behind you.
Yes, I love this. I was so glad to get this, and I got it on like a photo, whatever it says.
Okay, we're up. We're live. Hi, Dr. Gail.
Hi, hi, everybody.
So her office is going to lunch. Let's
My
see if they.
office.
Is that what they were saying? They were going to lunch. Okay, we're gonna. Well, for those of you who are wondering why Dr. Gail's here, today we're going to do. Oh, hi, Sharon.
Hey,
Hi,
Sharon.
hi, she's here. The show can start. Sharon's here.
And Andrea's here.
Who?
Andrea.
Oh, is she?
Yep.
I
Hey,
can't.
Andrea.
I can't see it in my chat. Ah, Andrea Galvin. Okay, hi, Andrea. I'm saying hi, Nancy. Hi, Gail. Yeah. We're doing well here today. I'm doing well to be here today. We've got 6 viewers now. Today's going to be kind of a this and that day because we're going to fire up Dr. Gail's grid. She's going to show it to you right now.
Look at it. It's beautiful. Everybody is so beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's pretty.
And I'm fire it up today. I got my little wand. Anybody else who has their grid, you might as well go ahead and get it and fire it up with me.
Mm-hmm. If they haven't, if most people have.
Yeah.
One time I wrote to all the people who had grids and I said, just let me know how's your grids working out, or is there any way I can help you? And everybody wrote back about, all these things that had happened that were part of their grid, and it was very self-satisfying. I got one note from a woman who said, I did that thing and absolutely nothing happened. And then she wrote in the next paragraph, but then I don't want to do anything, so.
Why did she even get it then?
I think she was enthused at the time, and she's either afraid. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to make a presumption. She just may not be ready to move because a couple people, right. One woman said, well, I wanted to move houses, and that's what the primary intention she put behind that grid. And she said, all of a sudden, I sold my house and had to find a new house, and it all happened so fast. And I was like, oh, my God. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Cardamancy is here. And Lauren. Thank you guys. If you would please like, and if you would go over to Skywalking with Moon, is that your?
Yes, Skywalking with Moon.
That's Gail's site. If you guys can get her to her numbers up, then she can go live and she can take your questions in real time. And I know there's a lot of people who have questions about what Dr. Gail does. I know she rescued a friend of mine, and I have no questions about what a miracle it was to have her work with him. So if you're looking for that kind of help, that can help.
Yeah, if I can go live, I can take your individual questions without you having to make an appointment with me to have a reading. I can go live and do those 1 or 2 questions that somebody has, on live. But I do have to be to 1,000 subscribers before YouTube allows me to go live. So that is actually one of my intentions that I did for my grid, is so I can be service to others, is to increase my YouTube channel, and that I can go live and answer those questions, all those woo questions that you want to ask questions about the aliens or what might have been in your bedroom last night. There's 1 or 2 questions that you might have, and I would like to be live here to answer them.
And there's going to be a lot more stuff hitting the news, I think, about aliens soon. I mean, I've seen several readers talk about that. They haven't sent me a postcard saying they're coming to land in my front yard. Tough for them. There's no front yard. But if you guys could kind of support Dr. Gail, it would be really great. It's Skywalking with Moon.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, everybody. And thanks for my subscribers now. I appreciate
Yay, Terry Ortega. Yay. She quit her job. I know about that.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
Yep.
Good for you.
It's going to take care of itself.
Yeah, I'm sure you're a little scared, but you're going to be okay.
Oh, you can go live without 1,000 subscribers, but I'll have to find out what the thing is. Somebody just pointed that out. I went live before I had 1,000.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
Who was that? Whoever you are, can you
Stephanie
email
D.
me?
I think it's like it's not just 1,000 viewers, but it's how many hours people have watched. Because that's what I did. Since people could go back and find my channel and watch everything, because none of it was based on certain data or certain vibration, they could get the whole thing. The inside crap on this. Okay, anybody have any questions for us? Because I had a couple off the things. And do you want to fire your grid up first, or do you want to wait?
Yes, let's fire it up first.
Okay, we're going to fire
I
up.
want it to start acting.
Okay. This is a grid, and as you can see, it's built symmetrically. This was one that ended up being that way. Dr. Gail has a wand, and she has to tap the middle.
Okay.
And then tap the citrines, the little yellow ones all around there. And they go back. Yeah, that's fine. No, they'll go back in the center.
Oh, whoop, I went back center.
Okay, yeah, that's it. You're going to weave, in other words, weave a web of energy. So when you're done with that, then you're going to go to the next little stones. Those are bloodstones. And those are for courage and strength. I'll explain to you what the whole grid means when she's done tapping. Now you do the lapis lazuli. Those are the real pretty blue ones. That's it. Okay.
It's hard to see from the side. Okay.
And then, yeah, it's hard to do it from the side. And then you're going to go in and you're going to tap the light blue ones, which are blue adventuring.
Okay, and then these?
And then your little mother of pearls. I mean the little moonstones. And then...
Oh, I feel heat. I feel the heat coming off of it already.
I know. It should be starting to really warm up. And then wait till you connect all the quartz. And then she's got quartz wands facing towards the stones. And those quartz wands are going to create an energy field around her grid.
Ooh, it's getting hot. Ooh.
Yeah, it does.
Yes, look at it. It's activated. I mean, I feel the heat. There's some heat coming off of this thing.
Well, then get it on top of your intentions and let me know what's going on, what's happening. I'll tell you what the stones that are on there, because people always ask me about crystal. Yeah, lapis is a beautiful stone. The big blue stone in the middle is an apatite, and it enhances creativity and intellectual understandings, and it's to expand your knowledge. There's a little mother of pearl, shiny white, right in the middle, and that's to gain greater focus on that stone for energizing the whole center of the stone. Then the first little ring of stones around you are multicolored, and those are fluorites, which are my favorite stone, and it brings confidence, direction, self-love, and it focuses you. Then the blue stones, then there's the bloodstones, which are for purification, courage, and noble sacrifice, and they actually transmute energy. They actually change the energy to a different form, not just transform, but really move it around. And then the lapis, the darker blue, releases angry, negative thoughts, brings in calm, boosts your immune system, and it helps with clarity. And it's a stone for strength. That's why the Egyptians used to use it so much. Then the lighter blues are blue adventuring, and they open up higher guidance, third eye, and throat chakra for honest communication. Then the little bitty white stones around the edge are moonstones, and they calm your response to stress, and they're for psychic development. And then she's got the quartz points, which run around the edge, and they amplify the energy that's been released. So that's a fired up grid, guys. If you wanted to know.
And you could feel it. You could feel the heat coming off of that. And I'm hot too now.
That's one of the things people are like, well, how does it do that? I mean, the first time I did it, I thought, oh, that's a bunch of BS. And I built a grid and I went, oh God, it's warm. Okay. Well, I was wrong. Oops.
Yes.
Okay. Today in my sort of description, I featured the Diet Doctor, which is a website. It's a YouTube site and a lot of other stuff. And right now they're running a thing on healthy aging. And they analyze a study that was done in Europe and the U.S. where they carefully controlled how much fat and fiber and carbs carbs, fat, and protein that the people got. And if you guys have started looking at any stuff, I'm going to give you a few words to learn. Macros. Macros is the percentage of, that's sort of the outside of the nutrients that you should have. So you have macros in fat, macros in protein, and macros in carbs. And if you're in a true keto diet, the net carbs should be 20 or less. Now, and net carbs means there are carbs that go in your body, but they're fiber, and your body doesn't turn them into glucose. It can't. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. So they take out the fiber and they tell you how many net carbs. So, and then there's some people who eat whole carb, and then there's some people who just eat low carb, and they don't count it quite as stringently as you do on keto, and they can have up to 50 to 100 grams of carbs a day, which gives you a little more leeway, especially with regards to fruit and stuff. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you haven't been weighing your portions and you're going, oh, that looks like a tablespoon. No. We have big eyes, and the food gets, we shrink the food down in our big eyes. And so I'm weighing everything, because I gained some weight when I had to go back to using my steroids, and I'm off them far enough now. I have actually lost a couple pounds in the last couple days, but I'm weighing everything. I'm weighing how much, and I don't weigh an egg, because eggs are eggs, but all the other stuff I pretty much weigh and make sure what I'm eating, so that because if you can measure it, you can manage it. And that's true. That's why I think this diet in some ways works so well. That and the fact the old diet, the standard American diet, or what they call the DASH diet, it was all based on calories in, calories out. And first of all, not all of us do our calories the same way. We don't have all the same interior structures. But especially as you get older, from the people I've corresponded with, they seem to think that keto works better. So if you go to Diet Doctor this week, they posted a thing called Healthy Aging. And not to get too far in the weeds, but there's this place I can tell in your DNA how aged you are, and it's called telomeres, I think. I mean, they're like the tail of your DNA. And they can measure that, and they can see how your body's responding and aging. And they put these people on this pretty strict diet and their activity. They monitored everything. I mean, these people agreed to live like this for a couple months. Free food, but Anyway, the ones that were on the low carb, the lower the carb, the more they reverse their aging. And the standard diet, the people lost a little bit, but not much, and that was mostly written off to exercise. And so the other question I got from someone in my chat was, what do I eat for breakfast in the morning? I do what they call an intermittent fast. I have an 8-hour eating window, and then I don't eat. I can drink and I can do whatever I want, but I can't have anything that's going to try to spike my insulin for 16 hours. So I have 8-hour eating window, 16 hours that I don't eat. And sometimes I do 6 hours of eating and 18 hours of not eating. But each one of those periods of intermittent fasting, it's really the fact that we snack all day and we keep spiking our insulin. That's making a lot of people heavier. The other thing is, in 1974 and 75, when they added fructose, that cheap sugar that we control, when they started adding that in our food, that's when, if you track all the health data, that's when all of the obesity really started, because your body does not know how to digest that. It's not the same as sugar. It may taste the same, but it is not the same as sugar. Your body can't use it. And as a matter of fact, it can block your body's cell system up so that you can't lose weight. So if you know somebody who drinks a lot of soft drinks, that's not a good thing, because it's everywhere. It's everywhere. When my son started shopping for me, I'd say, you have to get me sugar-free ketchup. You have to get me sugar-free this and that. And he'd go down the aisle at Costco and he'd go, Mom, he'd call me and go, everything in here has sugar in it. I said, trust me, you will find things that don't. And he's noticed in the 2 years, well, not quite 2 years, he's been shopping for me, that there's a lot more items out there to help you avoid sugar. And that's the first thing. There's two things you need to do. You need to decide you're going to consistently measure your food, and you have to decide you're going to read food labels. And the more you can avoid food that's processed in any way, the better off you're going to be. Now, it's also been brought up to me, people say, is there a vegan form of keto? There are several really good sites where people have really good recipes, and they all looked incredibly interesting, but I'm not a vegan, and so I have not cooked much of them. But I have a friend who wanted to do keto who was vegan, and she went and got some of the recipes, and she said they were really good.
Well, that was my question. I'm vegetarian,
Mm-hmm.
want to be vegan. Want to be vegan. So I was wondering about that also. I was wondering, do you have any idea what is in the vegan diet? Is it just like mostly beans, or do you have any idea? Have you looked at any of those sites? Yeah.
Okay, it has that funny word tofu. As soon as I see that in the recipe, I'm out of here. And because my mainstay is eggs, and as a matter of fact, one of the things I'm going to do after Thanksgiving is I'm going to go on an egg fast, which is where all you eat for 5 days is eggs. You can have them boiled, you can have them done in an omelet, you can have them scrambled, you can have them, over easy, you can do whatever you want, but you can have butter and eggs and a little bit of cheese, and you do that for 5 days. And I have a friend who did that, and she said, by the end of the 5 days, you just don't want to eat anything. I mean, you had nothing but eggs. And she's not much of a cook. Now, I can make a mean omelet, and I can make some of those things taste a lot better than they sound.
Oh, I love eggs. So, yeah. I don't know about every meal, though.
Well, Tracy said she's read a full keto diet, and they don't allow for much fiber. You can get a giant salad bowl, and as long as you don't charge it up with onions and stuff like that, but if you're just eating greens and a big salad, and it's a big salad, that's like no carbs, and it's all fiber, and it's really good for you. If you read, last week I had Eric Berg's book. I pointed out his book about body type. He had a woman who, I've seen him talk with her. She lost 200 and something pounds, and she hit a plateau. She had a 6-month plateau when she was about 25 pounds out. She thought, I'm never going to, lose it. But she hung in there, and she said all of a sudden the weight started coming off again. They're part of that Aging Healthy study was also a study of autoimmune diseases that they treated with diet, and that polycystic ovarian syndrome, I think is what is the PCOS. They use keto, so I don't know about eggs, because kids, when I got into this, I was so past caring about what my ovaries were doing. It's unbelievable.
Well, being vegan, wanting to be vegan, you don't eat eggs on a vegan diet either.
Yeah.
So I would think, who is it, Eliza? I would think maybe you should try that. Just no eggs. You could do anything else.
Yeah.
But I'm going to check out Keto Vegan and see what that entails. Because the only thing that I really eat that is still vegetarian that is allowed eggs, and I do eat eggs. And who is it? Anna Banana? I can't eat eggs. My sister can't eat eggs either. She
well,
can't
if you're allergic to them, you can't eat them. I mean, that's.
But she just doesn't like them. She can't smell it. It makes her sick to her stomach. So, yeah, I would just avoid eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sister's the same way. She can't stand the smell of them. Don't want to look at them.
Yeah, it's almost a vegan breakfast that I make. I'll have vegetables left over from the night before, and I'll chop them all up, the mushrooms and the veggies and the Brussels sprouts and the asparagus and the whatever else, and little baby salad greens. I'll chop them all up and fry them in the frying pan, and then I'll throw an egg on top of that, and that's a breakfast for me lots of time. The other thing is, a lot of people, I get seafood shipped to my house because I live in the middle of where there are no lakes, no big oceans. So I want stuff that's freeze dried on the boat and sent to me.
You don't have any lakes or water anywhere around you?
We have giant things that are drinking water, are reservoirs. But no, there's not a natural lake in Texas. They're all made by man. There's not for the whole state. Eliza, okay. There's a lot of I've spoken with and watched since I've been doing this for 2 years. I've seen a lot of different things. Look at different people, like Diet Doctor, the one I put up today. First of all, they have great recipes, and second of all, they have a lot of specialized stuff, and they do answer your questions if you have a specialized question.
I'm just wondering. I mean, if she can't do keto, I mean, there's got to
But
be
you can
other
do
things.
you can do low carb. You can do which has a much more expansive eating window than keto, and go dig around and looked at that. I mean, and there's keto that's like super strict keto, and then there's what they call dirty keto, which is you kind of throw things in now and again, like an occasional drink. That's probably going to hurt you more than anything else, because when you take a drink of alcohol, when you have a night where you sit and have a couple drinks, it takes 18 hours for that to clear out of your system. During that 18 hours, you cannot, you're not going to be able to do ketones. Your liver's not going to be able to function.
Well, what about sugar?
Oh, sugar's horrible. Sugar's the worst thing. There's 2 things you need to do. Protect your liver.
I mean, that like alcohol.
Oh, yeah, sugar's worse. Sugar takes over. Yeah, that's why you can't have sugar. I mean, that's why, first of all, refined sugar is just poison. I was thinking about the other day because I was watching a show on ancient Egypt, and I really hate the unwrapped mummies. They used to have them in museums when I was a kid, and they always freaked me out. But they had all their teeth. And if you go back and you look at like plague victims they've dug up, they have all their teeth. You know why we don't have all our teeth? Sugar.
Okay.
So.
Well, what about honey then? A natural sugar.
It will trigger off an insulin glucose response, and that's what you try to do with keto. You try to get your body to the point it wants to live on ketones, and the best way for your body to live on ketones is to break down the fat in your body. So in other words, you are figuratively and literally living off the fat of the land.
Huh.
And how you shrink will tell you kind of, like I had all that. I kept looking like I'd had 3 children and still was having them. And I just had a big belly, and that's part of a cortisol, weight gain, weight loss, and that's related a lot to your internal chemistry. That's why I'm saying go look and read up on all the different things there are, because we're all different. I have a friend who had thunder thighs and the biggest arms, and she's a hormonal, and her weight gain and her weight loss is triggered a lot by hormones. So,
Now, what if you don't need to lose weight? Is keto diet for everybody?
If you don't need to lose weight, they'll tell you how much you need to eat to stay alive. But yeah, keeping sugar and actually keeping refined foods out of your diet, period, is probably the best thing you can do for yourself. I mean,
Right.
that's the whole thing of our health crisis and what we all have meds for. I don't have meds anymore. I used to have at one point in my 60s, I was taking so many meds, even with insurance, they were close to my house payment.
Wow.
So I said, I can't. Well, they were all this specialized stuff because I have a weird system. I have sympathy for all you people who have weird systems. My system's weird. One of its oddities is I don't feel pain. And you don't understand how weird that is when you don't feel pain, because things you guys don't even think about. You just know it hurts. I walked around on a broken foot until I passed out and was in shock. I didn't know it was broken.
You see Tammy's comment on here? She lost 25 pounds last year in October.
Mm-hmm.
And in October, now she has gained 6 pounds back. She doesn't know why, and it's driving her nuts. and she felt really swollen in October.
Okay, what you need to do then is do sort of a kickstarty kitschy diet. Like I don't know if you eat meat, but you can go carnivore, you can go egg diet, you can egg fast, or try fasting more. But if you continue to not lose weight and you go into that kind of regimen, I felt things plateau, but I also know when I put my clothes on, they fit differently. So that's the other way you can tell. Sometimes it's not just the weight you're losing. Now, I've gained 6 pounds since I was 199.9. There's also a whole lot of that stuff where you get so close to your goal, and that's when the other part that I talked about, spiritual weight loss, that's when you have to thank all those lovely voices that want to come and tell you how to live your life. And move on and just thank them for sharing and then get rid of them. Some of the stories I've read in working with this, just trying to help other people see the way, is no one ever beat me and said, we're going to beat the fat off of you. That to me is just horrifying. I was a skinny little kid. I was skinny till I took birth control. My weight gain was completely based on hormonal changes and stress.
Now, also, Eliza has said there are new vegan eggs called Just Eggs out there.
Mm-hmm.
You can find them at Whole Foods, but
yeah.
I'm not sure where else. Have you tried them, Eliza? Are they good? Are they really good? Or
I've had them a long time ago, and they're not bad. I mean, if you want to have something bad, well, if you want to have, I get farmers' eggs, so my eggs are like really, really, really eggs. No, I would say. Yes, Warrior Girl. Yeah, people don't think, oh, that's so cool, you can't feel pain. They don't know what it's like to walk in the dentist office and have them say, this tooth is completely rotted out, and why don't you know? Why are you sitting here not screaming at me? They do anesthesia on me, trust me. But so yeah, I remember having a sample of them, and they were not bad. I mean, I've never cooked with them. I've never put them in a whole big thing. I don't know, but I do understand they're supposed to act like eggs. And if you do ever watch the Great British Baking Show?
I do.
There was a vegan on this year, and she made it to round 4 or 5, and she was using that thing that they use for an egg substitute.
Oh, okay.
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 Good information. I'm getting great information here.
Well, yes. That's what you need to hear, I guess.
Yes, it probably is.
Okay, foods that I eat other than like traditional bacon and eggs and my morning hash, I have a sous vide, which you don't know what that is. It's water bath cooking. I can cook like a whole bunch of salmon all at once, and then I love to have salmon in for breakfast. And it's really a good neutral protein that doesn't spike your sugar.
Flaxseed is a replacement for eggs in recipes. Okay. Thanks, Andrea.
Yeah. Flaxseed, I forget what plant it comes from, but the first time I smelled it, I went, God, I've smelled this before. I couldn't figure it out. It was flaxseed oils, what they used to give you when you were a little kid and you had the oil paint sets, and that was the thing you cleaned your brushes with. That was flaxseed oil. It was, because I took it just to taste of raw flaxseed oil. I'm sure it has a place in someone's lexicon somewhere, but not mine.
Okay, now to ask everybody out there, you're all assuming that I cook. I don't cook that much.
Well,
I'm more throw a sandwich together, throw it in the microwave.
Mm-hmm.
So I do super simple things.
There are more and more frozen foods that are geared towards keto, which could be healthier for you if that's what you want to grab. Oh, yeah, Tammy, yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, trust me, I don't feel pain. I was in hard labor and I went in the hospital and I said, I came in because I just feel this push. And the nurse was looking at me really sweet because like, oh, you're standing here in the hallway talking to me. And she put her hand on my stomach. She said, next time you feel the push, put my hand on your stomach. So I grabbed it, I put it on there. And she goes, oh, God. And I had 3 of the burliest nurses I've ever seen in my life throwing me on a gurney. And they're telling me, you're in hard labor. Don't you know it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, eventually I knew it. But
yeah.
That was my son that was 913, and they didn't do a C-section.
Woo!
Did a big boy. Okay, what else is going on? Holiday specials I'm putting out today. We've got $10 off for the garden through the holidays, and at the end of the holidays, I'm going to teach classes again to help people learn how to work with the garden. So,
I'm just reading Tracy's comment. Keto is a lot of cooking and meal prep, but so are most diets.
well,
She's right. She's
yeah,
right.
and the thing is,
I should do some.
the word diet is kind of an illusory term because whatever you put in your face and eat is your diet. Mm-hmm. So what she's concerned about is a restrictive diet, and but I said, it's like I said at the beginning, if you can measure it, you can manage it, and you have to figure out that you're going to measure at what you're going to eat and to manage it. And that's the only way to get there.
Of course, Andrea's saying eating closer to earth, not processed foods.
Oh, yeah, you should.
That's right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I just watched an hour and 10 minutes yesterday when I was working on my grids, and this guy was doing a lecture on processed food and how first of all, when he put out his definition of what food is, processed food doesn't make it as a food. It's a product you ingest, but it's not going to feed you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Warrior Girl, we have that problem too. She said most medicines don't work for her. That's the other half of having a high pain threshold. They have to. My daughter's in the process of getting that DNA test to see what she's can use.
Andrea, do you eat like that, organic, raw, or lightly cooked foods? Are you doing that? Now, for me, for the kind of work I do, they have been pretty directed me on what kind of food to eat. So when I first started doing the stuff I do, they told me to eat bland for 5 days. Mm-hmm. Well, I was like, wahoo! Potatoes and rice and pasta. So I had to eat like that for 5 days because I started eating different aliens and doing different things. My vibration had to increase, and I got very, very nauseated during all that. I was so glad they gave me that instructions to eat bland for 5 days because I was really sick after I started meeting them. And then they went to needing to be vegetarian, but all mine is due to the work that I'm doing. It's not that that's what I think how everybody should eat. It's just that kind of work that I'm doing. I need to be vegetarian, and they want me to be also a plant-based diet. And there's a reason for it, and it's just
stabilize
doing
your
the kind
energy.
of work I'm doing.
Right.
It's doing the work.
Yeah, I've been. Danny and I are going to start a series on dowsing, and we found a form and we turned it into the garden, guys, like we always do. Danny did that. But it's a dowsing chart, and we're going to have those for free for people who want them. Not today, please. Got enough stuff to do, and we're going to. I got this really good instruction book called A Letter to Robin, which is something that the guy Walt Woods, who's big whoop on dowsing, and I've been measuring my energy, and I was on a Zoom call with some friends, and some damn scammer came through on my phone, and I don't know why my phone picked it up. It's not supposed to, and Anyway, I ended up picking the phone up and telling them off, and I said, I got to check my vibrations. Yeah, I lost 120 points. I get pissed off and angry.
Now, sitting there reading, Andrew's saying that she's diabetic and went from insulin pills to simple metformin.
Good.
I can't pronounce pills. I'm getting tongue-tied.
Yeah. Metformin.
Plant-based meat products have different qualities. It's still important to read. Yeah, I've looked at that. There's plant-based, like the burger, the Impossible Burger, things like that.
Yeah, those ones that are soy-based. There's
Yeah, they
people
have a
who,
lot in them.
right, there's some people, and you're going to find people that all have their own opinion. My opinion is, if I can put it in my mouth and eat it and stay whole and lose weight, I'm okay. I mean, so there's a lot of people, oh, if you put that in your mouth, you'll just, I mean, the one thing, I'd already given up margarine long before I became keto, and I used butter all the time. And, I think of all those years I put up with that, I can't believe it's not butter. I could believe it wasn't butter. But I ate with that crap, and that stuff's just like putting plastic in your body. It's just not good.
Well, look at Warrior Girl. She had nerve damage reconstruction after a bunch of strokes in order to walk. And it blew the surgeon's mind, her threshold for, I think that's pain. Yeah. And he was planning on retiring that year, and he was shocked. So, good for you.
Yeah, my father was an anesthesiologist, and I had a younger brother who's an anesthesiologist. And they both told me, once we figured out, we didn't know that I had such high pain threshold till I was 18, and they did a surgery on me, and I was under general anesthetic, and I started to wake up. I metabolized that kind of meds too fast, and they said there's other complications with that. But I've told every doctor that's had to give me anesthesia, and they now have things that can monitor, the levels in your blood, so they can make sure you're not going to come out. And the guy told me that I was using it 35 to 40% faster than I should have been. I was metabolizing it.
So do you remember any of the surgeries? Because I worked in the operating room for years and years and years.
No.
And it was really occasional that you would run into somebody.
I didn't remember waking up when I was 18. And after that, everybody kind of watched it.
Okay. I'm reading yours, Andrea. I do see the lentils and everything. Yeah, I do. I'll do like beans. I like lentils and black beans.
Well, next time, when it'll be a week. No, it won't be a week from today because that's Thanksgiving. We're gonna have to figure out another time. But I'll do some posts on vegan sites. I'll try to evaluate if I think they're any good. And if you have a favorite vegan site, let me know, because then I can put it in.
Yeah, I'm going to research some of it too, but I need y'all to do it because y'all are more cooks than I am. I would have to do the easier stuff, ones that I'm kind of running in and out and grabbing and going on. Oh, your acupuncture told you to eat the rainbow at every meal.
Yeah, get all the colors.
Andrew, you must be a good cook.
I don't know. I've talked to her. We never discussed her cooking.
Fresh herbs, help with flavors, yes. Obviously she is. She's talking.
Okay. So that's kind of where we are. The biggest questions I get is like, what do I like to eat for meals? I like to cook in an Instapot because it doesn't have a lot of fat and stuff in it, and you get a lot of broth and stuff from that. I do make my own bone broth when I get a whole chicken and all the bones and things. And then but there's some things that are fun. I mean, this is not vegan again, but they have a thing called a Big Mac salad, and you can make the secret sauce with all stuff that's totally keto, and it tastes just like it, and it's really kind of like you got a Big Mac and you don't have to worry about the bun and stuff. It's
right.
That's.
Well, I want to ask you about this thing that you and Danny are doing. What are you using for your dowsing? Are you using?
I'm using my pendulum. I've got a pendulum I've had for 40 years.
Okay.
But you could use any I actually have 2 pendulums in my bag at any one time, and this is. So I'm going to try to get people up with that, following me on my show about that. Yeah, this is my pendulum.
Right.
See, it's all different kinds of fluorites, and a person who is a fabricator put it together, and it's got every color in the chakra in it.
Wow.
So, fluorite can be any color under the sun. It really can. And that's why I like them. Let's see. If you haven't noticed, I know if you were here last Tuesday, Jeffrey from Ripe Color and I announced, and we started today doing side-by-side readings. He's reading Tarot, I'm reading the Garden. Can I share which recipe?
I think it's the Big Mac recipe.
Oh, the Big Mac recipe? Yeah, I'll Google it. If you put keto Big Mac recipe, it's there. If you can't, I mean, there's like 20 of them. I mean, it's just because it's so good and it's such a nice change for us. And anyway, where I was with Jeffrey Ripe Color, he and I have been working on this thing. We're doing it side by side so people could see things in the garden and see his readings. There's going to be some real exciting changes happening in December when he and I were laying them out. We see.
Andrea, I'm going to come live with you and just let you cook and experiment on me. That sounds great. She's talking about using ethnic herbs and spices, finding flavors that she knew existed.
Yeah, you know, somebody was talking to me about Ipazote, which is a spice you put in Mexican food, and it does make a difference in the flavor, but boy, what it does is it gets rid of the after effect of beans. It really works.
There was somebody on here who was saying they had problem with beans. A lot of people do.
Somebody's telling me that it's got heroin in their recipe. I think that's not. I don't think they typed that right.
Who is this Lori Sue talking about? Spell check. Heroin is not a keto ingredient. I missed that one.
Yeah, I've never seen heroin in. I've seen it.
She's thinking it was a spell check. How they spell?
Yeah, I think I hate spell check. I hate spell check. So does anybody have?
I'm going to read the chat up to see where that was. I'll look at it later.
Yes.
We needed a good laugh, though.
Yes. Yeah. No, you have to follow the science of what you're doing, and you have to look at because something that I have a friend thinks work for her great, and if I throw them in berries and cottage cheese and stuff at night, it doesn't help me. So. Yes, there are tons, and the Headbanger is a good person's recipe site, honest to God.
And you're saying if you don't have a major earthquake, here, come on over. Well, we missed the hurricanes this season. We're usually getting hit by hurricanes, and we made it. No hurricane. Yeah. I can't believe we made it through that whole season.
I know.
Andrew, I'll give you a call.
Nope, not heroin, fentanyl, maybe. Okay. Lori Sue's got a thing about obsessing with food about that, but that's okay. I mean, if it works for you, babes, what can I say? If anybody has a question, you got 2 minutes to type it in big bold caps, and then if not, we're going to close it down because.
Yeah. Any questions about the grid too? Because I love a grid, and I still feel the heat off of it.
It should stay warm now once it's fired up.
Any questions about you and Danny's program?
Yeah, well, I'll let them know. And that grid, by the way, is based on a card called Realization for Dr. Gail.
Do you want to go into that a little bit? The Realization card?
Yeah, the energy of realization is... It's about the vibrations. Realization. The frequency of realization supports the internal process of becoming aware of our own heart-centered truth. That's what the green is on it. As well as the external process of becoming a higher expression in our own world. Realization happens in many different levels. Initially, we realize something when we become aware of it and pay attention to it. Externally, we realize something when we can achieve and fulfill a dream or a desire. On a spiritual level, we refer to self-realization when we try to unite the body, mind, and spirit and the soul and to step out in our fullest path. This is their try this to go with your grid. It's close your eyes, take a few deep breaths. Do you realize the magnificence of what you are and the scale of what you can create when you're here in this body? Realization or belief that you are an expression of the creative source makes you a powerful manifester. What do you want to accomplish?
Here's this grid.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this beautiful grid. Now, some people are asking some other questions. Do you want to take other questions?
Well, somebody wants to know about earthquakes, and I tell you what I don't know about earthquakes would fill volumes, but I'm gonna pull a crystal card and see what it says. Guys, I really don't know much about earthquakes. Ask me anything you want to know about a tornado. I can tell you all about them. I've been through them. I've been in earthquakes in California when, and I'm apparently one of those people that can feel them when they just shake a little bit. I thought they had a lot of them. But I was also there the year that Mount St. Helens blew, so that might help. Okay.
Now I know about earthquakes in California, Oregon, and Washington areas.
Okay, that's west of here. West of here in the United States, because west of here is also Japan.
That's me I'm asking about.
Okay, let's see. The crystal card we pulled is
Thank you, Jacqueline. I love it too.
selenite. And selenite is spiritual awakenings. And the divas around selenite it's translucent and it's good to cover all situations. It works as a vacuum cleaner to purify and cleanse the aura, opens up and stimulates the crown chakra, bringing divine light of the cosmos, allows you to move forward with strengths. It connects with the higher self and the I am. And you attracted this card today because you're moving into powerful times of spiritual awakening. I'm getting the feeling that whatever hits us, we'll be able to handle, and we'll be able to use, if we use our spirit, we'll be able to rise above it. So, it doesn't help you. I get no kind of timing on.
Now, I don't do much on predicting weather things either. I don't really feel them.
Oh, she had a 7 point today. Well, that's an awful lot. I mean, Dallas used to never have earthquakes until they started fracking. And then when they started fracking, one day I was just sitting at home on a Saturday night, and I felt like my whole chair had been lifted up and set down. And it was an earthquake.
I think that 7 was supposed to be and. I'm okay and I'm not okay.
Okay, because what I see, several readers are seeing a big one. Little ones are okay. 7.7 point is not okay. So I don't know.
Yeah, okay. We'll figure it out, Andrea.
I'm not. I'm going to roll the garden. You can't see it. Unfortunately, I did set up a camera to do this, but it's not behaving today. So I'm going to just have to tell you.
Okay, thanks. 7.8 is a big. You can tell I'm not around earthquakes much. I'm on the hurricane side of the U.S.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I see spirit and water, and that's dealing with things from our past. I'm going to take the grounding stone as the one that's important in here because that's what it is. And grounding landed in.
Now, somebody also was predicting a earthquake in Tennessee and Kentucky area.
That's the Madrian. I think it's Madrian quake. There was one right after the Civil War, and it backed up the Mississippi River for 4 days. The water flowed backwards. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a huge fault line, but it's pretty set. It's some of the oldest mountains we have.
Here's Paisley asking a good question.
Yeah.
How can you tell if crystals you want to purchase are real and sourced properly? That's a good question for you, Nancy.
It's a really good question. I've done shows on it. It's really a matter of getting to know the vendor and kind of looking around at what they have in stock. Um, and if you've looked for a stone and you thought, well, that's too expensive, and you walk in someplace and they've got it for 50% or less, most of the stone people know what the other people are getting. Um, so I that's kind of what I'd go by. Okay, what I got when I just looked quickly on earthquakes, and I got rethink. So it's, in other words, it's the part where it says fool's gold. In other words, don't accept what everybody's telling you, because they may be telling you something that's not true. It's fool's gold. And then it says look the patterns up now and see what you're going to need to protect yourself. So I'd say, if you live where that's a real possibility, have your go bag. Get out. If it, have the stuff you need to survive, especially if you take meds and things. Madrid, yeah, it's the Madrid fault.
Now, Paisley's asking another question, which is a good one. She's asking about the stones again. She's wanted to know, what if you buy them online? How do you know if they're good stones? Should she look at a specific vendor?
When I look stuff up, I go to Crystal Vault. It's VAULT. And there's a couple of other ones. You can go in and they're going to have a whole lot of information about each stone. And they have excellent information about a stone. If I run into a stone, or I'm looking for an energy and I can't figure out what I need, I'll go look through their thing.
Can you spell that again?
Crystal, it's Crystal, CRYSTAL, Vault, VAULT.
So did you get that, Paisley? Tell me if you got it, or if you need to have her repeat it again.
But they're a real good vendor, and also I guess they're going to have the Tucson Gem Show in Arizona. I've been hearing some people who actually work with stones talk about that.
Okay.
I actually did a whole show on sort of screwing around with. I have to leave in about 3 minutes, about other ways they emboss stones, and it ends up that the red they use in stained glass windows has the same refraction as rubies, and so they fortify rubies with that red. Now they'll tell you they've done that, but it makes it a much better stone, because both emeralds and rubies are full of fissures and they can break easily.
Now, what was that about the ruby? I love red.
Ruby rings can be enhanced with this red. It's the same leaded glass that they use it, and the way they treat it is it absorbs it and it makes it a much stronger stone.
So that would be an okay stone to get one. That would it say part glass, part ruby, or what?
It'll tell you that it's been altered. That's what that's it called. And I spent a couple days talking to different gem groups around the country, and there are just some alterations that people, as long as it's revealed, you're fine. There's also a lot of people. I was going to do this today, but my thing's up. That's a piece of amber, and that's a real piece of amber from the
Now, Paisley has another question.
What?
Have you heard Gem Goodness? G-O-D-D?
Gem Goddess.
Goddess.
No, I don't know Gem Goddess, and just call them up and see if they give straightforward answers. Check them against another site. Do that kind of work.
By Warrior Girl. You have a good weekend too. Oh, you got to go too, Nancy.
Yeah, I do. I have to go, guys. I'm going to teach someone wanted to learn tarot privately, so I'm going to have a private tarot class today. So that's another thing I do, but I'm not sure if I really want to do it, so it's not on my price list. Anyway, we'll see.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for coming by. Thank you for bringing your grid and firing it up. And thanks for coming and chit-chatting about weight loss.